Good morning, dear students. My name is Ferhan Mazher, and today is 18th March and 2022. Right now, I am with the 11 Cambridge class, and the subject we are studying is Physics 5054. And today we have set our hearts to solve paper one. This paper one has MCQs in it, and the paper is a very special paper. This paper, its code is the name of the subject they have changed, Cambridge. Cambridge has changed the name of the subject. They say this Physics 31741 paper. This is actually a special paper which was conducted in July, during July 2021 in Pakistan, during the COVID epidemic. And during that season, the Cambridge only took MCQ paper from the students of O levels in the Pakistan. And today we are going to attempt that paper. So it's a very special paper. So the code has changed 3174, but basically this is Physics 5054 O levels Cambridge Physics. And let's try this paper. So I hope that you will learn from it and you will gain more confidence and knowledge by watching this video. So let's start this paper. So okay, so on your screen, this paper is showing up. This paper is physics. This is basically Physics 5054, Cambridge O levels physics. But because that was a special exam which was conducted in July 2021 in Pakistan, so they changed the code of the subject. They give it the number 3174, and they only took the MCQ paper in Pakistan. So we are going to attempt that, and the 1 hour time is allowed. So the first question is coming up on your screen. Here we go. When there is no wind, the engines of an airship push it due north at 20 meters per second. The wind is blowing from the west to the east at 12 meters per second. Which vector diagram shows how the resultant velocity r of the airship is obtained? Okay, so there is 20 meters per second velocity towards the north, and there is 12 meters per second velocity from west to east. So if you want to find out the resultant of these two velocities, then you can find their resultant by applying the parallelogram law to this. If you want to find the sum of the two vectors graphically, you can apply the parallelogram law. And when you apply the parallelogram law, the basic thing which you do, the two vectors to be added, you put them in such a way that their tails are joined. So you will put the two velocities, 20 meters per second and 12 meters per second, in such a way that their tails are joined. And once you put them like that, and then you suppose that they are the adjacent sides of a parallelogram, and then you complete that parallelogram. And then the resultant will be the point where the tails are joined. You join that point with the opposite corner, and that will be the resultant. So if you look at here, 20 meters per second towards the north, 12 meters per second from west to east. Their tails are joined here, so we will complete the parallelogram. And then where the tails are joined, I will join that point with the opposite corner. That will be the resultant. So I think that A is the best option. So, and the next question, the B part here, this direction is wrong. It's from east to west. And this one is also wrong. And this one is also wrong. So because the two vectors to be added, they are 20 and 12. So they should be the sides of the parallelogram, not the diagonal of the parallelogram. So I think A is the choice. Question number 1, A is the right choice. Let's check. Question number 1, A is the right choice. So we are done. Okay, so the question number 2 is coming up on your screen. He says a student runs from the point X to point Y. Which quantity is a vector? So her average speed for the run, average speed is a scalar quantity. How long it takes to complete the run, the time is a scalar quantity. the displacement of the y from the x displacement is a vector quantity. So I think C is the right choice. The distance she runs, distance is a scalar quantity. So their question was which one is the vector quantity. So I think C is the right choice. Question number 2, C is the right choice. Okay. So let's move to the next part. He says, okay, so we have to reduce the size. Okay, a stone is dropped from rest from the top of a ladder. It falls and hits the ground. It does not rebound. Which speed time graph is correct? So because it's a stone and it is dropped from a ladder, so its speed will go on increasing as it is falling down. Its speed will increase, and as it touches the ground, all of a sudden the speed will become 0. So I think this is happening only in the C. So I think question number 3, C is the right choice. Question number 3, let's have a look. Question number 3, C is the right choice, sir. So question number 4, it says a student kicks a ball horizontally along the ground. As he does so, his foot applies a force to the ball. At the same time, the ball applies a force to his foot. How do these forces compare? So these two forces will be equal in magnitude, opposite in direction, and they will act on different bodies. So one force will act on the football, and the other force will be acting on the foot. So the force on the foot is equal to the force on the ball and in the opposite direction. That is right. The force on the foot is equal to the force on the ball and is in the same direction. That's wrong. The force on the foot is smaller than the force on the ball and in the opposite. That is wrong. Their forces should be equal. The force on the foot is smaller than the force on the ball and is in the same. That's wrong. The forces should be equal. Newton's. This is the pair of Newton's third law. And the forces of Newton's third law, so they should be equal in magnitude, opposite in direction, plus they act on different bodies. So I think the force on the foot is equals to the force on the ball and in the opposite direction. So we think A is the choice. Question number 4. Question number 4, I think A is the right choice, sir. Then we have the next question. The diagram shows a parachutist falling towards Earth. So here is that parachutist, and here is his parachute. Here it's experiencing air resistance, and here is the weight of the parachutist. The length of the arrows represents the size of the forces on the parachutist and the parachute. How is the parachutist moving at the instant shown? Here you can see the air resistance is greater than the weight. How do I know that air resistance is greater than the weight? Because the length of the arrow is larger than the length of the arrow representing the weight. So the length of the arrow which represents the air resistance is larger, and the length of the arrow which represents the weight is smaller. So that means that the air resistance is larger. If the air resistance is larger, there will be an upward force. The body is moving downward, but there will be a resultant force in the upward direction. Whenever the resultant force is opposite to the direction of the motion, it will be acting like brakes. It will be causing the body to decelerate, and the body will be decelerating opposite to the motion, and that is that the body will be decelerating in the upward direction. So I think that question number 25, decelerating upward. So I think question number 25, D is the right answer and right word. Question number 5, I think they have taken C choice, decreasing. Sorry. The body, I think C is the right choice. I used the wrong word. So the body is coming downward and the resultant force is in the upward direction. So the body still is moving downward, but because the air resistance is in the upward direction and the resultant force is in the upward direction opposite to your motion, so it will decrease your speed. So it's decelerating, but the body is moving downward. So I think C is the right choice. I by mistake said D. So C is the right choice. We can check the answer also. C is the right choice. Question number 5, C is the right choice. The driver of a car sees a hazard in the road and applies the brakes to stop the car. Which quantity does not depend on the condition of the road? I think the thinking distance does not depend upon the condition of the road. The thinking distance depends upon the condition of the driver. So how much is reaction time, and during that reaction time, the distance traveled is known as thinking distance. So the thinking distance does not depend upon the condition of the road. It depends upon the condition of the driver. So the distance, the braking, which quantity does not depend on the condition of the road. The braking distance, it depends. The average deceleration of the car as it brakes. So it depends upon that. The force on the car causing the deceleration, that also depends upon the condition of the road. The thinking distance, yes, the thinking distance only depends upon the driver. So I think D is the choice. Question number 6, D is the right choice. Question number 6, D is the right choice, sir. Okay. Question number 7 is coming up on your screen. He says, we were doing that question. Now we ask question number 7. A satellite is in a circular orbit around a planet. Which statement is correct? Its acceleration is constant in direction but not in size. Its acceleration is constant in size but not in direction. The gravitational potential energy varies. Its velocity is constant. Remember one thing, when you are moving in a circular orbit, you have acceleration, and that acceleration is always towards the center of the circle. But as you are moving in a circle, to keep the direction of the acceleration towards the center of the circle, because you are moving in a circle, you all the time that direction has to change. To keep the direction of the acceleration towards the center of the circle, the direction of the acceleration has to be changed. So the body is moving with an acceleration. Acceleration might be constant in size but not in the direction. I think B looks the right option to me. Question number 7. Let's check. Question number 7. B is the right choice. Okay. He says, which property of an object resists a change in its state of rest or motion? We call it inertia, and that depends upon the mass of the body. More the mass of the body, more will be the inertia, not the density. I think mass. C is the right choice. Question number 8. C is the right choice. An object of mass 10 kg falling freely in the gravitational field close to the moon's surface has an acceleration of 1.6 meter per second square. What is the gravitational field strength on the moon? You see the small g value 1.6 meter per second square on the surface of the moon, and the gravitational field strength on the surface of the moon will be the same. Okay. So only the units will be different. It will be 1.6 Newton per kg. The g value, whether it represents the acceleration or whether it represents the gravitational field strength, it is the same value. On the units are different. In the case of the gravitational field strength, the units are Newton per kg. So question number 9, I think B is the right choice. Question number 9, B is the right choice, sir. Question number 10 is coming up on your screen. He says a measuring cylinder contains 50 small dry metal spheres. When 25 centimeter cube of water is poured into the cylinder, the meniscus is at 60 centimeter cube mark. What is the volume of one sphere? Okay. So because the volume of the water has changed from 25 to 60 centimeter cube, it means that the volume of the spheres, 50 spheres will be 60 minus 25. And if you want to find out the volume of the one sphere, so you will have to divide this with the 50. So volume of 50 spheres will be 60 minus 25. And if you want the volume of one sphere, then you divide it with the 50. So question number 10, I think C is the choice. Question number 10, C looks the right option, sir. Yeah, C is the choice. Okay, question number 11, a very famous and many times repeated in the Cambridge exams. This question is about the moment or the turning effect. The total weight of the load and the wheelbarrow shown in is 600 Newton. What is the size of the minimum force F needed to lift the P off the ground? So here in this wheel, we have the pivot. Here you have the load, which is trying to produce a clockwise moment. Here you have applied a force in the upward direction. So you are trying to produce anti-clockwise moment about this pivot. So this force weight here, 600 Newton, its distance from the pivot, the perpendicular distance from the pivot is 70 centimeter. And this force here, which is trying to produce an anti-clockwise turning effect or moment, its perpendicular distance from the pivot is here, is this total distance, that is 120 centimeter. So the clockwise moment and the anti-clockwise moment, they both will be equal to each other. So let me show you. So F1 D1 equals to F2 D2. So the F multiply 120 equals to 600 Newton multiply 70 centimeter. So when I will make this F alone, it will be 600 multiply 70 divided by 120. So when you enter these values in your calculator, you will get 350 Newton. So the answer should be 350 Newton. The answer will be 350 Newton. So I think A is the right choice. Question number 11A is the right choice, sir. Okay. He says a rectangular block of metal has a weight of 6 Newton and measures 3 centimeter by 4 centimeter by 5 centimeter. The block rests on a horizontal surface. The face with the largest area is in contact with the surface. What is the pressure exerted by the block on the surface? You know, the pressure is equals to the force divided by area. Force divided by area means weight divided by area. Now he is saying that that face is in contact with the ground. Who has the largest surface area? The largest surface area will be this face for 4 by 5. So I can find the area 4 multiply 5, and that will be 20 centimeter square. So let me show you how this is done. This is question number. So the pressure is equals to weight divided by area. So pressure will be equals to 6 Newton divided by area will be 4 into 5 and centimeter. So it will be 6 by 20 centimeter Newton per centimeter square, and that will be 0.30 Newton per centimeter square. 0.30 Newton per centimeter square. So let's have a look at the 0.30 Newton per centimeter square. So I think B is the right choice, sir. Question number 12, B is the right choice. Okay, so next question coming up on your screen, question number 13. He says, the diagram shows an instrument that a student uses to determine atmospheric pressure. Which distance does the student use when calculating the atmospheric pressure? This is a simple barometer. And in this barometer, the height of the mercury in the tray from that point to the height of the mercury in that tube, 1 meter long tube, and that gives you it corresponds with the atmospheric pressure. So from the height, the level of the mercury in the tray to the level of the mercury in the tube, so that is C height. So which height does corresponds with the atmospheric pressure in the barometer? That is the C. So question number 13, we think C is the right option, sir. Question number 13, C is the right option. He says the diagram shows identical large tanks filled with water to different depths. A diver is horizontal in each tank. Which diver experiences the greatest pressure? The greatest pressure will be experienced by that diver above which the depth of the liquid is the largest. So the above that diver, the depth of the liquid should be largest. You can see here the depth of the liquid is 6 meter. Here the depth of the liquid is approximately 5. And here the depth of the liquid is 3, I think. Here the depth of the liquid is 4. Okay. So here the depth of the liquid is from 2 to 8, that is 6. So here is the largest depth, I think. So the pressure will be greatest in which the depth of the liquid above that diver is the greatest. And I think here it is greatest, it is 6 centimeter. The depth of the liquid above the diver is 6 meter here. So here the pressure will be the largest. We think question number 14. A is the right choice, sir. A is the right choice. Our answer is right. A student does an experiment in which she measures the volume of a fixed mass of a gas at different pressures. The temperature of the gas remains constant, which graph shows her results. So if you talk about a gas and you keep the temperature constant, the pressure and the volume, they are inversely proportional to each other. So if you increase pressure, for example, the volume of the gas will decrease. So that is represented. So their relationship between each other is they are inversely proportional to each other. The graph which represents the inversely proportional two quantities, the relationship, inverse proportional relationship, the graph which represents that is this. It's a universal thing. Never forget this thing, that if two quantities have an inverse relation with each other, the graph will be a curve like this. So A is the choice. Question number 15. I think our answer is right. Question number 15, A is the right choice. Okay, so let's move to the next part. He says a crane moves its load diagonally. So this crane is basically lifting the load from here, and this moves here, and this also moves upward. So their question is, so that has moved diagonally. It has covered some vertical distance, and it also has covered some horizontal distance. This load. He says the question is. By which distance is the weight of the load multiplied to calculate the change in the gravitational potential energy of the load? Remember this thing, the gravitational potential energy, that is equals to weight multiply the vertical height. The weight multiply the vertical height, that's equals to the gravitational potential energy. So that will be, I think, B choice. So that distance represents the vertical distance. So question number 16, I think B is the right choice. Yeah, question number 16, B is the right choice. Okay, the next question coming up on your screen, he says, two solar cells of equal area but different efficiencies are exposed to a sunlight of different brightnesses for the same time. Okay. Which statement applies to the more efficient cell, which compares with the less efficient cell? Okay. So the more efficient cell will generate the same electric energy from the sunlight of the lower brightness. Yeah. The best sentence which describes something which is more efficient is this one. He says it generates the same electric energy from sunlight of lower brightness. So I think question number 17, I think D is the right choice. Question number 17, D. D is the right choice, sir. Okay. So we are going to next part. He says, four people run up the same set of steps. Which person produces the most power? The power is equals to the work done divided by time. And the work done is weight multiply height divided by, so weight multiply height basically. So that is the work done. So the most work will be done in which the weight is the largest, and the most power will be where you did the same work in less time. So the power will be most. So we are looking for that option where the power is the most. So the weight should be largest and the time should be smallest. There you will have the greatest power. Okay, so if the same work is done in less time, it has used more power. So question number 18, C looks the right option, sir. Question number 18, I think C is the right option. Which expression describes thermal conduction in solids that are non-metallic? So in conduction, which are non-metallic, we do not have free electron. So the energy is transferred by the vibration of the molecules. Okay, transfer of the free electrons throughout the solid. The non-metals don't have free electrons. Transfer of the vibrations between neighboring molecules, that looks the best option. Transfer of electrons between neighboring, no. The transfer of free electrons throughout the solid, no, because he said non-metallic. Okay, so we don't have free electrons. So by transfer of vibrations between the neighboring molecules. So question number 19, I think B looks the best option to me. Yeah. Which type of thermometer is used to measure temperature above 1000 degrees centigrade? And which type is used to measure temperature that change rapidly? You see, if you want to measure very high temperature, you will use thermocouple. And if you want to measure the temperatures which are changing very rapidly, for that the best available choice will be thermocouple. So the very high temperature you use thermocouple. So very rapidly changing temperature you use thermocouple. So for all the cases we are going to use the thermocouple. So I think D is the right option. Question number 20, D is the right option, sir. Two liquid in glass thermometers are almost identical. They contain the same quantity of the same liquid and the diameter of their capillary tubes are the same. Okay. The only difference in that one thermometer is longer than the other. Okay. Which row shows how the ranges and sensitivities of the thermocouple compare? You see, the one who has the longer length will have larger range. So the range is different. Sensitivity, because every aspect is same other than the length. So both the thermometers will have the same sensitivity. So their range will be different, but their sensitivity will be same. Okay, so question number 21, I think B is the right option. Question number 21, I think B is the right option, sir. The graph shows how the temperature of a fixed amount, talking about some material, which row shows the melting point and the boiling point of the material. So it was solid. First of all, it will start melting. Once it's melted, then it will start boiling. So I think 2 and 4. To melting point, where is the melting point? Here is the melting point, and this represents the boiling point. So the melting point is 2 and the boiling point is 4. So I think D is the right option, sir. Let me reduce the size so you can see the question together. Question number 22, D is the right option. Let's have a look at the marking scheme. Initially, the molecules of a substance are close together. They move past each other and change position. So he's talking about some liquid. During a specific change of state, the molecules of the substance become slightly closer together and vibrate about their fixed position. So what is the change? So from the liquid, it has converted into solid, and that process is called solidification. So D is the right option, sir. Question number 23, D looks the right option, sir. Question number 23, D is the right option, sir. A student writes 3 statements about what happens when the air in a balloon cools. The molecules move closer together. That is true. When the temperature will drop, the molecules of the air, they will come close together. The molecules become smaller. That is not possible. The molecules, when the temperature drops, the molecules do not become smaller. Then the question is, the mass of the molecules decreases. No, the mass of the molecules will not decrease. The mass of the molecules will not decrease. The only right sentence he said was number 1. So I think A is the right option, sir. Question number 24, A is the right option, sir. A wave moves along a rope. How do the particles of the rope vibrate as the wave passes? You see, they all vibrate in exactly the same way and at the same time as each other. No, that's not right. They do not vibrate at the same time as each other. Some particles might be moving upward, some particles might be moving downward, but they will be periodically doing the same thing. They all vibrate in exactly the same way, but slightly out of step with the neighboring particle. That is the exact sentence. So, and I think this can be the answer. They all vibrate with different periods. That's wrong. They all vibrate with different frequencies. That is also wrong. So the particles will be moving in the same way, but slightly out of step. Out of step means, let's say, if this is one step up and the next one particle will be the on the second step or going up, so slightly out of step. Okay, so B is this is a little tricky sentence. So B is the right option. So question number 25. The plane mirror reflects a ray of light from an object as shown. At which position is the image of the object from? So here is the object, here is the observer. So we take one light ray which goes straight to the mirror, and we take this line behind the mirror and we prolong it. And then, for example, here is the observer. So I will join at this point. At this point, a ray from this point here, the angle of incidence, angle of reflection will be equal. That ray will go to the observer. We prolong this light reflected right ray behind the mirror, and where it join with this point, that here the image will be formed. So this is how the image is formed in the plane mirror. So D looks the best option, sir. A piece of paper torn out of an exercise book is shown. He says a light enters the lens, a light enters the less dense medium. The angle from the normal increases. So light entering from a dense medium into a rare medium, and it is bending away from the normal. Which process must be taking place? It's refraction. It's clearly refraction. When the light enters from one medium into another medium and it changes direction, this is called refraction. So question number 27, D looks the right option, sir. And it is. And it is. A thin converging lens in a camera forms the image YZ of the object PQ. Distance LF is the focal length of the lens. To which point does the ray QX after passing through the lens? To which point does the ray QX travel after passing through the... You see, this image will be real. It will be inverted. So this top point P came down here, Z. The image of the Q will be at the Y. So this X point should be joined with the Y. So I think C is the right option, sir. Question number 28, C is the right option. Yeah, that's the right option, sir. Okay, so he says, which statement about the image formed by a converging lens is correct? The converging lenses, and they can make real images, they can make virtual images, they can make magnified images. Okay, so they can do all the things. So the converging lenses, it may be either virtual or real. Yes, in the case of the converging lens, the image might be real and might be virtual. So it may be virtual or... So I think 29 D choice. Yeah, 9 D is the right option, sir. A student writes 4 statements about the electromagnetic waves. A medium is needed for their transmission. That is wrong. Their speed in the air is 3 into 10 to the power 5 kilometer per second. You remember that number 3 expo 8 meter per second, because here it is kilometer. To convert into meter per second, you multiply it with 1000. So that will become the famous number 3 into 10 raised to power 8, or 3 expo 8 meter per second. This the second one is true. They are composed of electrons. That's wrong. They produce ionization when their wavelengths are very short. Yes. So which statements are correct? A part is 1 and 2. A medium is needed. No, the A is perfectly wrong, because it has it has one number statement, and the one number statement says it need medium. So the electromagnetic waves do not require medium. So all the options in which we have one, they are wrong. So A is wrong, B is wrong, C is right, because the speed of that electromagnetic wave in the air is 3 expo 5 kilometer per second, or you can say 3 expo 8 kilometer per second. So I think C is the best option. So three, this D part is also wrong because they are composed of electron. That is wrong. They are not composed of electromagnetic waves. So clearly the C can be the right answer. We were not sure about this one. They produce ionization when their wavelengths are very short. Okay, that's true. So only option, correct option looks the C. Question number 30, I think C is the right option, sir. A loudspeaker produces four sounds of different frequencies: 1 hertz, 10 hertz, 1K hertz, 10K hertz. So which sounds are audible for the healthy human ear? You see, the healthy human ear can hear the sounds from 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. So 20,000, 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz will be these two. So 3 and 4. I think C is the option. Question number 31. C looks the right option, sir. It is. It is. A sound wave passes through three different mediums arranged next to each other. The speed of the sound wave decreases as it passes from the first medium to the second medium, and then increases as it passes from the second medium to third. So the speed has decreased and then increased. So it means that it has moved from a dense medium into rare medium and then again into a dense medium. Okay, so from dense to rare and from rare to dense. So I think solid into gas, gas into liquid. So it looks like this option. You see, because the sound waves faster in the dense medium. So solid to gas, from gas to liquid. So question number 32, C is the right option, sir. A soft iron bar and a steel bar each have a coil of wire wound around them. Each coil is connected to a battery and a switch. The switches in both circuits are closed and the iron nails are held close to each of the bars. Both switches are then opened and the iron nails are held close to each other of the bars again. Which bars attract the nails when the switches are closed, and which bar attracts the nail after the switches are opened? You see, when both the switches are cold, a soft iron bar and a steel iron bar, they both will become electromagnet. So when the switches are closed, they both will be electromagnets. So they both will attract the nails. So both attract the nails. So when the switch is closed, but when you open the switch, the soft iron bar, it will lose its magnetism immediately, but the steel bar, it will not lose its magnetism. So now only the steel bar will be, when you have opened the switch, the the steel bar will retain its magnetic properties and it will continue attracting the nails. Okay. So when the switches are closed, both the bars attract the nails. After the switches are opened, only the soft iron bar attracts the nail. That's wrong. Only steel bar attracts the nail. That is right. That is right. So I think B looks the best option to me. Question number 33. B is the right option, sir. That was question number 33. In a photocopier, particles of ink are attracted to an area of a plate on which an excess of electrons are fixed in position. Excess of electrons fixed in position means that on a local place there are electrons. So on a certain portion of the body there are electrons, and that is only possible if it's an insulator. Okay. Is the area of the plate with an excess of electrons a conductor or an insulator? Because the electrons are on a fixed position, so in a fixed area, so that is an insulator. And what is the charge on the particles of the ink? The ink will have the opposite charge. Okay, so you can see the where you have the excess of electrons, so that plate will have a negative charge on it. So the ink should have the positive charge. So the area is a conductor and the particles of the ink are negatively charged. That's wrong. The area of a conductor and the particles of ink are positively charged. That is wrong. The area is an insulator. Yes, that's true. And the particles of the ink are negatively charged. That's wrong. The area is an insulator and the particle of the ink are positively charged. Yes, the ink should have opposite charge. So I think D is the right option, sir. Question number 34, D looks the right option to me. Question number 34, D looks the right option, sir. He says a student uses a multimeter to measure the current in a 4.7 kilo ohm resistor connected to a 30-volt source. Which range of the millimeter is best? Okay, so first of all, we will find how much current is flowing through it. And let me show you, I have done this. Question number 35, he says V is equals to IR, I will be equals to V by R. Voltage is 30. The resistance is 4700. So it will be 0.0064 ampere. And in milliamperes, you divide it with, so multiply it with the 1000. So you will have 6.4 milliamperes. So the current flowing through this is 6.4 milliampere. And the best range for the ammeter will be from 0 to 10 milliampere. 0 to 10 milliampere. That will be the best range to measure this current. 0 to 10 milliampere. So I think B is the right option. Question number 35. Question number 35. B is the right option, sir. Okay. So the next one is, he says a car battery supplies a current of 5 ampere to the car's headlamps for 30 minutes. What is the average, what is the charge that flows in this time? Okay, so we know the charge I is equals to Q divided by T, and the Q will be very easy. I is equals to Q divided by T, and if you want to find out the Q, that will be I multiplied T. So I is 5 ampere and the time is 30 minutes. So I is equals to Q divided by T. So Q is equals to I multiply T. So I is 5 amperes and the time should be taken in seconds. So 30 minutes, you will convert it into seconds. So 30 multiplies 60 and you will get the whole answer 90,000 coulomb. So the charge will be 90,000 coulomb. The charge will be 90,000 coulomb. The charge will be 90,000 coulomb. And so what's the choice? What's the choice? What's the choice? It's not 90,000. I think it's 9,000. I'm saying 90,000. It's 9,000 basically. I was saying 90,000. So I think our answer is B. Sorry, question number 36. The answer is D. Question number 36. The answer is D. So our answer is right. Okay, it says that which graph shows how the resistance R of a constant length of wire depends upon its cross-sectional area. So the resistance and the cross-sectional area, they are inversely proportional to each other. So if the cross-sectional area will increase, the resistance will decrease. So the graph which represents the inverse relationship between two quantities is D. Question number 37, D is the right option, sir. He says two long, straight, parallel wires pass vertically through a horizontal board. The two wires carry currents in the same direction. This produces forces on the wire. What is the magnetic field pattern on the board, and do the wires attract or repel each other? Remember, if the parallel conductors, the direction of the current is same, they will attract each other. And whenever they attract each other and you make their diagram, it should be a hugging diagram. The diagram should be hugging each other. This is not hugging, this is hugging, this is hugging. Okay. So whenever the wires are parallel to each other, they have the same direction of the current in them, the wires will attract each other. And the field pattern will be this hugging field pattern. Okay. They are hugging each other. So with their arms around the other. Okay. With the arms around each other. That's why I say hugging diagram. So A choice, they should attract. And the pattern should be a hugging. So question number 38A is the right option, sir. Question number 38A is the right option, sir. I hope you understand that question. A little bit tricky thing. Which radioactive emissions are deflected when passing through both electric field and magnetic field? You see the alpha particles, because they have the positive charge, they are deflected from the electric field and the magnetic field. Beta particles, because they are negative electrons, so they are deflected by the electric field and the magnetic field. The gamma rays, they are not affected by any of the electric field or the magnetic field. Alpha particles and beta particles and the gamma rays, that's gamma. To do the gamma, it's not possible. Alpha particles and the beta particles only, this is the best statement. Alpha particles and gamma rays, no, gamma rays are not affected by the electric field or the magnetic field. Beta particles and the gamma rays only, the gamma rays are not affected. So the only right option is B, question number 39. B is the right option, sir. So our answer is right. Okay. So now we are moving to the next part, and that's the 40, question number 40. He says a cloud of gas in space collapses to form a star, which is stable for billions of years. Which process releases energy in the star and prevents the star from further collapse? That is nuclear fusion, where the smaller nuclei come and fuse into each other to make a larger nucleus. That process is called nuclear fusion. So I think C is the right option for question number 40. I think C. Today, my dear students, today we have done May, June 2021 Physics 317412 paper. This MCQ paper was conducted in July 2021 by the Cambridge in Pakistan, especially because of the COVID epidemic. But they have not taken the paper 2 in Pakistan. They only took the paper 1 MCQ paper. So today we have done that paper, and I hope that you have understood the concept. If you think that you have learned something from it, if you have learned the concept of physics, if you think that this video has helped you, please share the link of this video onto your Facebook, onto your Instagram, and onto your Twitter accounts. Also like this video, and also subscribe my channel, because that will help me to promote my channel. It's a great blessing for me to teach you online. I hope that I will help you to get good grades in upcoming Cambridge exam. So thank you very much, everybody. Have a good day, and God bless you all.